My man.
My man. Hey, this is Carlos Monarrez from the Detroit Free Press here with Free Press columnist Shawn Windsor. Dave Burkett is on vacation in Nashville, Tennessee today, so we're filling in the B team, C team, I don't know.
Probably D team.
G League.
G League. I hope Dave's down in Nashville eating chicken tenders with no sauce and whatever other kitty food, applesauce, I guess, whatever other kitty food he can get down there. You know?
You know. That sounds like Dave.
It does.
Some little apple slices.
He doesn't eat anyway. He's a machine.
No vegetables.
No vegetables. He's a machine, though, right? And we're going to learn everything about the Lions' latest draft pick.
Absolutely. And who is the latest draft pick is T.J. Hockenson, tight end from Iowa, 8th overall pick. Shawn, this is the one pick that I think a lot of people worried about, right? Was again the Eric Ebron ghost and shadow. I think you wrote about he's gonna be in Eric Ebron's shadow, right? And possibly
thanks to you. And I know I saw a reaction. Okay, first of all, just settle down. It's gonna be fine. And look, I get it. I kind of liken it to. And I don't want to bring up Matt Millen. I hate to bring up Matt Millen.
Wow.
But he took Charles Rogers, Roy Williams, Mike Williams. All three flamed out. And whatever else you say about Matt Millen, he did not back away from Calvin Johnson a couple of years later when he had the number 2 pick, even though he had the weight of those disastrous receiver picks. And I kind of liken it to this, right? Eric Ebron didn't work out, but Bob Quinn said, you know what, so what? This guy, Mr. Hockenson, is going to work out, and we're not going to worry about the past. So says you.
Yeah, you know, it's almost in this franchise's DNA now, right? We're going to take Brandon Pettigrew, not going to work out. We're going to take Eric Ebron, not going to work out. But I think the Ebron thing, I mean, it's such a, we all know the saga, but part of it was who they didn't take, who was Aaron Donald and also Odell Beckham. Is Ed Oliver, taken right after the Lions picked 8th, the Bills picked 9th, they take Ed Oliver, a versatile defensive lineman that a lot of people like. A lot of people mocked him to the Lions, thought he could do a lot for Matt Patricia's versatile defense. Is this going to be part of the Hockenson story? Is what Ed Oliver does?
Is he the next Aaron Donald? Right? Is that or at 10, the Steelers took Devin Bush, the Michigan linebacker, who whatever. I mean, the Steelers have developed some really good defensive players over the years, and you could see with that speed, him flying all over the place. Like, I think they made the right pick for. Let me back up just 1 second. Bob Quinn told us last week that they were going to make a pick based on who they thought was the best available talent player, not necessarily a need. Now, you can argue they did need a tight end, so it was a need too. But, if that's what they're going to do, then I'm glad that that's what they did and didn't worry about what anybody thought, because I'm sure half the metropolitan area tonight is freaking out, or at least got their hands in their face in their lap because of this, oh, my God, another tight end, right?
Yeah, I think this time around it's a little bit different because there's a need. Even though they have Jesse James, he signed to a pretty decent contract, I think $20 million or something like that, 4 years. They have a piece there, but he's unproven, and they know that Darrell Bevel, the new offensive coordinator, used Jimmy Graham to great success in Seattle for 3 years, 2 Pro Bowls, I think. So they know they need that component. They need a well-rounded tight end like Hockenson, and that he is the consensus best tight end of the draft. He's going to help the run game. He's going to potentially help the pass game. He's going to help in various areas. The only thing with him, I think, is that like all tight ends, no matter how good they usually are slow to develop. They don't produce much their first year, and this is a team that needs to win this year. Coming off 6-10 last year, they need to show something quickly. And your first pick, the number 8 pick, is going to be a guy who may not produce much this year. Is that a worry?
I mean, it's a fair question, and as Quinn pointed out, because the tight ends have to learn both the running game and the passing game, there's a lot more to absorb. So maybe that's part of it. Plus, in the physicality, I think he probably needs to get a little bit bigger and stronger to handle blocking some of these defensive ends. But here's what we know about him: he's got some nasty in him, right? A little bit like Frank Ragnow did. We didn't know that last year. He likes hitting. He's got really good hands. He's not explosive. He's not going to run down the field like Gronkowski or Vernon Davis used to or whatever, right? Yeah. He's not that. But you mentioned Antonio Gates earlier.
Yeah.
Good body control like Gates. Hockenson was a basketball player, not as good as Gates. He wasn't a college-level basketball player, but he was an all-state high school guy. And that usually can tell you something about spatial awareness, hands, feet, balance. There are possibilities here. Will we see them all next fall? Probably not. But they got to take the long view too. You're right; they got to win, but they got to.
Both.
They do.
Short view and long
view.
They do.
They don't have any choice. And look, I understand the frustration that's probably out there, I mean, right, same old lines, all of that kind of stuff. But if he can help in the red zone a little bit, help carry on Johnson a little bit, give Stafford a place to check down on third down, then that's valuable, even if it's just 5-6 yards here and there to keep a possession alive.
Yeah, and I think
Drive, sorry. I've been covering basketball all winter long.
Way too long.
To keep it drive alive, not a possession.
Yeah, that you're right about that. I think it's over time, unless something weird happens with injuries or whatever, he will contribute in some way. And I think he's gonna possibly be more of a Brandon Pettigrew, more of a complete tight end who does different things in different ways. Probably, hopefully, with better hands, as opposed to Ebron, who was mostly just an offensive weapon.
Right.
So, and he didn't do that very consistently was the problem. But if the fans can kind of get past this Ebron thing, and give him some time, and if he doesn't worry too much about being compared to Ebron or anybody else, and he seems like he's a little bit different that way. He's not going to, Pettigrew was a little bit edgy and could kind of hold grudges about certain things, and Ebron worked a lot to pretend he didn't care, but he did care about what people said. If this guy can kind of let that slide off his back a little bit, and if people aren't on him, and if he shows some glimmer of ability somewhere that, potential, I think it could work out for them. But one thing that was interesting, we just talked to Bob Quinn right now after the draft here, the first round, and one of the questions was, have you talked to him about Eric Ebron and who he was, and he's going to have to follow in his shadow, and he said he hadn't, but he might at some point, discuss kind of this is the situation you're coming into. How much do you think Bob Quinn needs to tell him about the history of the guy whose footsteps you're kind of following in, and not in a good way?
Well, I mean, just the expectation, right? Or the expectation of failure to some degree, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what we're really talking about,
Right.
And then you got to beat that. I mean, I don't think he needs to spend a whole day or even a whole hour.
But Eric Ebron said,
right.
"Sit down,
but
son."
Just the idea of this is the franchise. This is sort of the history of the franchise.
No, you don't want to get into the history of the
No,
franchise.
but,
It's a lot.
but that's part of it a little bit. So I mean,
Yeah.
yes, so they understand a little bit in the pressure.
Yeah.
They go. But look, he knows he's a top 10 pick, and there's a certain amount of pressure with that.
He
And
claims,
you have to talk about that anyway.
He claims on the conference call today when we talked to Hockenson, he claimed that he doesn't
didn't
care
feel-
about pressure,
yeah.
that he's not going to listen to it. He trusted in his own hard-working ability and grinding, and the Big Ten's a tough conference and all that stuff, right? But that's not true. Everybody feels pressure, and especially as a top 10 pick.
They do. And Quinn, and by the way, Quinn spoke to the idea of pressure, that he was on the field late in games. He was the tight end because Iowa has another tight end.
Yeah, pretty good one.
Yeah, who's
Probably a better offensive tight end.
a little bit more speed on a vertical route, but I think Hawkins is probably better in every other way.
Yeah.
But Quinn also talked. Speaking of the pressure, he talked about his hands. He had one drop last year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
maybe
know.
how you count drops. And,
I mean, I guess, right? Whatever. Okay,
it's also college.
Oh, you're going to get all analytical, right?
Yeah.
I understand.
Hash marks and.
But let's just say this, because you and I were talking about this before, or right after he got picked, after you filed his scores, of course, and gave him a grade of C-. Is that right?
I gave the pick
a C-.
C-,
not
yes.
him a C- because
Yes,
he could.
there's so many other issues involved.
As we were mentioning, though, the last several teams, and Super Bowl teams, Super Bowl contending teams, it's been the last several years, I shouldn't say teams, have had really, really good tight ends. So it seems pretty critical in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the Patriots come to mind with Gronkowski, but Philly had a really good tight end. The Chiefs and all that offensive power, they're powered in part by a really formidable tight end. Yeah. You've just seen it in a lot of spots.
Yeah. You know what? And obviously the Lions tried to trade for Gronkowski last year. They tried to sign Jamie Graham. No thanks. So they swung and missed a few times. And so they know that. It's not a big secret that you need a tight end in your offense. And most offenses they try to be as vertical as possible. So, and then, you know what? It was the right thing to let Ebron go. He turned into a Pro Bowler, of course, in Indianapolis. But they had, both sides had to move on. I think the Lions did the right thing by they obviously said, we're going to let Ebron go, but we have a plan to try to get these free agents or make a trade. It didn't work out. But yeah, you're right. I mean, they need a weapon, from the tight ends, and even Quinn. We talked about it. Quinn said it. I can see Jesse James and Hockenson, in the red zone here. There are two bigs here, our jumbo package. I mean, that's going to be formidable if they're both decent. If they pan out, that's going to be hard to stop.
And the other thing it gives them, speaking of packages, it's a little bit of element of surprise. I mean, I know there's not much because quarterbacks, in particular, offensive coordinators, are so good at reading what defenses, and it's hard to disguise to some degree.
Well,
but he's a 3-down guy, right?
Yeah.
So he can be out there, and you're not immediately going to know just because he's out there you're going to run or pass.
Right.
You're not flopping or switching the tight ends. I know they'll do that some, but so he gives them that kind of versatility too, because he can block along with catch.
And a good tight end, I mean, Gronkowski or whatever, but even just like a Greg Olsen, they're matchup nightmares. I mean, it's really hard. Go ask Jared Davis how easy it is to cover a tight end. I mean, that's one of his big weak points, you know. So it's tough. Those guys are just the perfect, little chess piece for offensive coordinators like Darrell Bevel, who's going to use them and create nice matchups. And if it works out, because that's what they hoped to do with Eric Ebron, and it didn't happen. But if they can,
I don't know if it's the new foam in here, the soundproofing. I feel like looking at it is playing tricks on me. I feel like I'm in a sanitarium. But you sound, Carlos, like you're being positive, and I don't know what the.
Wow.
I'm gonna watch my language here. What the heck is going on? I don't get it.
No, it's
You're talking yourself into this.
I'm very.
You're melting down out there, and here you are.
Hey, I gave
you're
him a
trying to
C-.
soothe them. Yeah, but even an hour ago when you did that, I'm hearing the B-.
Well, there's good and there's bad. There's good and there's bad. And that's. I think that having known the Lions fans and the history of the team and all these different things, right? It's just. It's a tough. I wouldn't. Let me put it this way: if Hockenson was your kid, would you fear for him right now, going into this situation with all the baggage, not only from the franchise but from the position, from what, coming off 6-10, the Patricia stuff, changing offensive scheme. We don't know what's gonna. There's a lot of moving parts here.
Plus, he's a Lion.
I mean, the history. It's true, and the fans.
No, you wouldn't fear
the
for him.
fans.
No.
They
won't. You guys aren't going to take it out on him necessarily. I wouldn't think. I'll hold Quinn responsible.
Well,
right?
Lions fans aren't happy right now with the team, and they're going to be tough on
as long as he doesn't drop passes. If he plays well, they're going to be fine with him, even if they.
That's a tough position, and that's listen. The reality is probably. I mean, Tony Gonzalez didn't play well his first year.
No,
I mean, the reality is it's a really difficult. I think tight end is probably the most difficult position because they ask so much of you.
No, quarterback maybe.
No, because they tailor offenses to the quarterback. If you're a
still have
number 8
a lot to learn.
pick, you have a lot to learn. But the tight end, there's so much. The level of competition. You got to block. You got to know blocking schemes. You got to know routes. You got to know.
You do
all
know
this stuff.
running and passing, right?
Running and passing and blocking. It's an incredible position. And I think that he's going to drop the ball. I mean, he's going to go against Pro Bowl linebackers and safeties, and it's going to be tough for him. His first year, chances are. So he's probably going to fail.
Too bad he won't be doing that in practice here in Allen Park, going against Pro Bowl linebackers and safeties.
Unfortunately, yeah. Pro Bowl cornerback. Right?
Yeah, quarterback. Yeah, he'll get.
But that's the thing is I expect him to struggle, which is normal. And how is he going to handle it? It's hard. It's hard their first year. I've seen so many players come in here, and in the NFL, I think it's different from a lot of other sports that we cover. The NFL is a meat grinder of a league, and these guys, especially college, one thing a lot of people don't think about is these kids are going to go from going in fall camp last year at Iowa, playing the whole fall, and then prepping for the draft, the combine. You didn't go to Senior Bowl, but the combine and all this prep and going through the interviews, and then he's going to come in and do off-season workouts, and then rookie mini camp, and then mini camp, and then he's going to be playing. He's going to have football in his mind for a year and a half. That's so hard.
Yeah, psychologically,
psychologically, physically. That's what they talk about the rookie wall a lot. Is it just beats you down, and then you have fans on you. 60,000 people maybe booing you because whatever.
You know what that feels like.
I've never been booed with it.
No,
just one.
Digital.
So it's hard. I mean, that's where I feel the C, the middle grade. I get the understanding of it. I like politically what they did for Darrell Bevel. I think he needed some weapons, so they gave him something. And maybe Stafford, maybe it works for him too. But it's just going to be a lot. It might be
2-3 years before we see whether he's the player. They obviously think
could be a couple years.
Yeah,
could be a couple years, and it's going to be a lot on his shoulders.
So we're going to be back here tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow we're going to be back
tomorrow
here.
Night, rounds 2 and 3.
2 and 3 starts at 7 o'clock. We'll be here. Freak.com. I think Burkett will be back from his vacation.
Yeah, right.
Probably have some chocolate cake for us. You think he'll bring it back?
Yeah, probably without the frosting though,
Yeah.
because that'd be a little.
I would say bring back. What's Nashville known for? Ribs.
Hot chicken, hot fried chicken.
Ooh, hot fried chicken.
Yeah.
Okay, he won't bring any of
with
that
pickles.
Yeah, he'll run back like a
No, that'd be too spicy for him.
cheeseburger plain.
Too much flavor.
Too much
Yeah,
flavor.
He doesn't want to get the flavor.
All right, Sean's got plenty of flavor here. He's
not
all the
really.
flavor we need. All right, so keep it tuned here for the rest of the weekend for rounds 2 and 3 tomorrow, and then beyond on Saturday. So thanks for watching Freep.com.